He always used to tell us that I am waiting for you to enter, because very simple way he used to tell that, see, I am always standing outside your heart. You are not opening the door. You are not opening the door to let me enter. And when I enter into your heart, I see trash. I see rubbish. Why don't you keep your heart clean? One day, he went to the extent of telling us, you are all dustbins. Carry so much of dust, carry so much of dirt, rubbish in your minds, that I am not able to enter your heart. If you keep yourself clean, if you keep yourself pure, I'll walk inside your heart. I'll stay there. This is all I want from you. Where else in the history of humanity there will be an event where Avatar is telling us that open your heart, open your heart's door, install me there with all purity, and I'll stay there forever. This is Sai Avatar telling us, and repeatedly, day in and day out, we are listening to this. We are listening to this reality. This is Veda, Sai Veda, which we all are here to imbibe. And that is what makes us all special, that we are contemporaries of Sai Avatar. I always thought that when I was practicing in the legal world, it would be difficult for me to implement what he is telling us. Because usually I thought that legal world is different. It so happened that once I was sitting on my table, there was a lady who was a widow. She came to me. She narrated a very tragic incident that she lost her husband and son in a tragic road accident. And now she was left with the house of her husband. So she wanted her husband's house to be transferred to her, and she had some dispute with her mother-in-law and all those things. So she showed me some blank signed papers signed by her husband. She said, "Sir, can you scribe some will on these papers and help me?" She left those papers with me. There is a big picture of Swami in front of my table. I was looking at Swami all the time. I told her, "Ma'am, you can come tomorrow morning." Next morning she came. I returned her file to her and I said, "Ma'am, sorry, I cannot help you. Because whatever I will be doing falls in the domain of forgery. I cannot commit forgery. I will not advise you to commit forgery. So please, sorry, I will not be able to handle your case." She tells me that, "Sir, suppose you are to handle my case. How will you fight my case?" I said, "Ma'am, I will take your blank signed papers, present it to the judge and tell him that at least my client is truthful. She has not misused any of securities. She had the blank signed sheets. She never misused them. So probably I will be able to get his fairness, and rest all is what we are able to prove." She said, "Okay, go ahead, you fight my case." Now what happened, for our good fortune, her sister-in-law produced a will in the court. Now there was a witness who was a lawyer who came to depose in the court in support of her sister-in-law's will. As he was deposing, he looked at me and looked at the clock. So he told the judge, "Sir, can I depose after lunch? It's already lunchtime." I did not understand anything at that time. During lunch hours, he met me. He told me that, "Sir, this will is a forged document. Your client's mother-in-law was already dead when we put her thumb marks on this. And I am ready to state this in the court." I said, "Sir, yes, then you must tell it in the court." So he said, "Sir, but only problem is, orally I cannot tell because I did this mistake." I said, "You can draft your affidavit and present it to the judge. In the lunch hours, we drafted that affidavit. Immediately after lunch hours, he brought that affidavit and gave it to the judge. He said, "Sir, I want to be truthful. This will is a forged document. Actually, that lady was dead when we scribed this will." So naturally, that case was decided in our favor, and this lady got the house. But what I got in return was the belief that Swami is there taking care always, all through. What he wants us to be righteous. He wants us to be pure. If we have purity, if we love him, if we love his word, regardless of the field where we are, he is bound to help us. This is what he promised, and this is what he is fulfilling.